After a tough and dismal trip to the West Coast, battling Big Ten conference opponents Washington and Oregon and falling short in both games, Maryland returns home to College Park for Friday Night Lights on Fox. The Maryland Terps, 11-4, welcome in UCLA, also 11-4, for a Friday night primetime matchup on Fox, on national television. You know God's favorite host is here. I got your preview and prediction, and what I think are the keys to a Terps win, a must win for the Maryland Terps basketball team. Hit off that subscribe button if you're new. Lay up that like button. Block that bell. Sound off in the comment section. What do you think about the Terps so far this season? What do they need to do to make the tournament? And what do you think about this team after the recent struggles against Washington, against Oregon? And your thoughts on Kevin Willett. Any comment is greatly appreciated. Helps us out in the algorithm, and we love to be in the YouTube algorithm. Emoji. Leave your turtle emojis. Whatever you want to say in the comment section, it's yours. We're the best of the best of the best. Sound off below and let us know your thoughts. And welcome back to another Maryland Terps preview on the Flex Zone podcast. Thank you again for being here with me. Again, Maryland returns home on Friday night after back-to-back close losses to Washington and now number 15 Oregon. The Terps are now 1-3 in the Big Ten. Well behind the eight ball so far. They got a big hole to dig themselves out of, and it starts with a must-win Friday night as they return home to the Xfinity Center to face UCLA. Maryland is 9-1 this season at home, and their only loss was just by 4 points. One of the attaboys. I think Maryland leads the country in attaboys. Close but no cigar victories. You win kind of with your performance, but you don't win on the scoreboard. They lost by 4 points to number 7 Marquette. We're going to have to come out and play big on Friday night national television to get this win. I think it's a must win. They need to get to one. It would be their first win against a ranked team. It would move them to 2-3 in the Big Ten instead of 1-4 and make it 10-1 at home. The UCLA Bruins coming into this game last year, they were 16-7, 10-10 in the Big Ten. This year, a lot better, 11-4, 2-2 in the Big Ten. They started out hot as well, much like Maryland, but they lost 3 of their last 4. They lost to North Carolina, Nebraska, and number 24 Michigan. Look out for number 24 Michigan. I'm sure when the Terps play them, they got some big twin towers of their own down low. They look to be better than we thought coming into this season, so they could be a team on the rise, especially heading into March. They lost to Michigan by 19 points at home. It's crucial that they get this one as well because they're heading into their Big Ten schedule as well. They have beaten Oregon. They beat number 18 Gonzaga, and they have a lot of transfers because they were just 16-17 last year. So Mike Cronin, the new head coach, not the new head coach, but the head coach of the Bruins, he's led the Bruins to 2 Sweet 16s and a Final Four in his tenure, and he took Cincinnati to 6 consecutive NCAA tournaments. Tyler Bilodeau, he's a junior, 6'9", number 34, transfer from Oregon State. He's a player to watch. He has been the top offensive weapon. He is pretty much the offense for the Bruins. You shut him down, you have a good chance of beating UCLA. 14.7 points a game, 50.3% from the field, and he only shoots 11 shots a game, so he's efficient. Bilodeau has eclipsed 20 points in 3 games this season, including 26 in UCLA's loss to North Carolina. Kobe Johnson, you may know the last name, senior guard, 6'6", number 0, USC transfer from USC to UCLA. How ironic is that? Two-way threat. The guard is the brother of Atlanta Hawks forward Jalen Johnson. He's averaging just 7.8 points per game, that leads the team in assists, rebounds 7.8 at a guard, and 2.1 steals a game. Eric Daly Jr., sophomore forward, 6'8", number 3. Another player from the transfer portal. He spent his freshman year at Oklahoma State. He started all but one game and second in points, 11.5 with 4.4 rebounds and 1.4 steals per game. The Bruins' calling card is their defense under Mike Cronin. They've limited opponents to a Big Ten low 61.5 points per game. That's 11th in the country. They have had a non-conference that has been very easy. Lehigh, Boston University, CSU Fullerton, Southern U-Haul. They've held them all to less than 50 points, of course. But they've showed out against majors. 58 points against Washington. 54 against Arizona. And against number 18 Gonzaga, only 62 points. They also averaged 9.1 steals, which is second in the Big Ten. But their weaknesses on the glass, I'll talk about it in my keys. They only averaged 34.1 rebounds per game, fourth fewest in the Big Ten, and 23.1 defensive rebounds per game, which are the fewest. I think UCLA isn't the biggest team. They don't have a lot of size, especially in guys that play regular minutes. Bill O'Dew is like 6'9", so Reese and Queen are bigger than him, so they should be able to dominate down below. It'll be intriguing to see. The Terps are having their first home game of 2025, 9-1. Their only Big Ten win was the blowout against Ohio State, so maybe more of that magic as well. Looking to bounce back from a loss. Jacoby Gillespie had a very up and down road trip. He put two of his worst performances of the season kind of out there. 1 point and fouled out against Washington and 16 points against Oregon, but it was an empty 16, if you know what I mean. Really didn't have an impact on the game. And defensively, more than anything, he kind of wet the bed in the latter part of the game, much like the whole team and Kevin Willard even. I think Gillespie should have a big game as well. The Terps are looking for their first ranked win, and a top 25 victory over one of those teams is crucial. We know about the net rating. We know about all of those fancy nerd stats. But what are you doing on the court? Wins and losses matter. And for the Terps, it is going to be very, very important that they get a big win here. Real quick, looking at the UCLA and Maryland roster, you see Bill O'Dew averaging points per game, 50% from the field. Derek Queen averaging 16, 56.2%, 75.5% from the free throw line. Julian Reese averaging almost 9 rebounds, as well as you see Johnson for the Bruins. Kobe Johnson, the brother of Jalen Johnson, leading them in rebounds and leading them in assists. Now, you can see a lot of the pundits, a lot of the individuals forecasting this game has Maryland as a big favorite. 67, nearly 70%, 70-30 split. So do with that as you may. I don't think Maryland's going to blow them out. I don't really know why Maryland is heavily favored. I guess going west to east, but it's an 8 p.m. game, so really 5 p.m. for them. Not too far off. I'm sure they're already out here, if they're not already as of the recording of this video when you see it. So I don't think jet lag is going to be big of an issue, but the travel does wear. And as you see the Big Ten standings, Michigan currently 4-0, 12-3 overall. Michigan State right behind them with H to the Izzo. Indiana, Illinois, Purdue, who's beating Maryland, Oregon, who's beating Maryland, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Iowa, UCLA, and Maryland. So if Maryland can get to 2-3, a win over UCLA, that would catapult them pretty much up here with the rest of the pack and bring you to 12-4. So 12-4 in your first 16 would be great. Like I said, I'm hopeful that they can indeed get it done. It's a primetime game. You're at home. You haven't played since Sunday. So you haven't played in about 5 days. So you should be rested. You're back home. You're adjusted back to the time zone. And I think the Terps have to win this game. Maryland averages 8.5 made threes a game, and UCLA only gives up 6.9. UCLA has shot 46.4 from the field and 5.7% above what Maryland gives up, which is only 40%. The Terps defense is usually okay, but in the latter part of the game, it's just kind of just waned and been terrible. But let's get to the keys to the game for a Maryland Terps victory here. Don't want to keep you guys too long. My keys start with this: score 70 to 75 points. Maryland is averaging, what are they averaging? Maryland is averaging 85.1 points in their last 10 games. 7-3, 85.1 points per game. The Bruins are only giving up 64.6 points. So it's a high caliber, high octane offense that can score a lot of points in bunches at 85, and they're only giving up 64, so 65. So there's a 20-point swing right there. That's why I said score 70 to 75 points. I think if the Terps can get in that sweet spot, I don't see them scoring 80. I think if they can get in 70 to 75, they should be, in my opinion, with UCLA having limited offensive options, in a good position to win. Secondly, 3-pointers. We just talked about this. The Terps are having 8.5 threes per game, 1.6 more than UCLA gives up, which is 6.9. So a discrepancy there. Maryland, if they can make double-digit threes, 10 or more threes, I like their chances. Now, that doesn't mean jack up 35, 40 threes, but if you take 25, 26 threes, if you can go, what, 10 for 26 from the three-point line, what is that? That would put you at 38%. That's not terrible. That's 38.4%. Can you go 10 for 26 from 3? 10 for 25, something like that, and have a decent night? It doesn't have to be great. I'll take 10 for 25. That's 40%. You could go 10 for 25, 10 for 26, 38 to 40%, make 10 or more. I think that is a sweet spot to get to 70 to 75 points, make 10 or more threes, and you can be, I think, make them play from behind because they're limited offensively. And I think Maryland plays at a faster pace. I think UCLA they want to put pressure on you, but they want to offensively slow the game down. Win the rebounding battle. Now, UCLA gets dominated on the glass. They pretty much have their leading rebounder is a guard, Kobe Johnson, averaging 5.8 rebounds, almost 6 rebounds per game. Maryland is third in the Big Ten with 10.2 offensive rebounds per game. Julian Reese averages 3. And UCLA is fourth in the Big Ten with 9.7 offensive rebounds per game as well. And with the rebounding, I think Maryland has to win the glass. I think when you look at it, according to the numbers, they've only averaged 34.1 rebounds per game, 23.1 defensive rebounds. So I think Maryland can win the rebounding battle, get 35 rebounds or more. I see Reese and Queen, can they combine for 40 points and 20 rebounds? I think so. I think they can. They can get around 40 to 20 rebounds. That's a good one. So I think second chance opportunities, attacking the offensive glass, beating them on the defensive glass, getting extra opportunities, pushing the pace in transition, getting easy baskets, getting them in foul trouble. Less than 10 turnovers. UCLA is averaging 9.1 steals per game. Maryland has to control the pace, not turn the ball over, under 10 turnovers. Please. We talked about Mr. Billowdew, Tyler Billowdew. He's the offense. Keep him under 20 points. Let Eric Daly Jr., let Kobe Johnson, let them who are second and third options beat you. I say you keep Billowdew under 20 points, which I think you can because he'll have some Derek Queen, he'll have some Julian Reese, some real legitimate guys who can challenge him at the rim, hopefully stay out of foul trouble. I like our chances to keep him at around 15 to 18 points. And lastly, Maryland bench outscored the UCLA bench. I think Deshaun Harris-Smith is playing better as of late. I would like to see more Geronimo in the game. I don't know what they're doing with Selton Miguel. I guess he's going to be starting. Whatever it is, if he's playing with that second unit, maybe more from him. Be as mentioned, Rodney Rice. Let's utilize the Benjamin Willard. Use your rotations. Use the right mixture of players. Get guys in there with that second unit to help them score. I think if they can win the bench battle, that'll be a good outlier and way for them to win this game. Score 70 to 75 points. Let's recap the keys. 70 to 75 points, 10 or more three-pointers, win the rebounding battle, 35 or more, less than 10 turnovers, keep Billowdew under 20 points, and the Maryland bench outscore the UCLA bench. Well, for those keys, if they can hit on at least I got 6. They can hit on at least 4 or 5 of those. I really, really like their chances against UCLA. I think UCLA, I'm not going to say they're overrated because I think a lot of these teams in the Big Ten are better than their record or maybe their play has been so far. A lot of travel, a lot of back and forth, it seems like a more volume of games in a shorter period for these guys. So they're playing every other night. They're playing 3, 4 times a week, traveling and having consistent, tough games in the Big Ten. Like I said, Michigan is kind of rose to the top in Michigan State, but the Big Ten is still wide open. And if we look at the Maryland schedule real quick, we are pretty much getting into the heart of the season. Crazy to believe we're pretty much in mid-January. After the game tomorrow, we'll be hitting into mid-January. It is now January 9th. The game is on the 10th. They play Friday, then they play on the 13th, which is Monday. So you're looking at mid-January. And then you got UCLA, you got Minnesota. If you can win these next 2 games at home, you get to what? 13-4. Then you're at Northwestern, a winnable game. That should get you to 14-4. Nebraska, another winnable game. That can get you to 15-4. At Illinois, if you lose 15-5, you beat Wisconsin 16-5. I know Ohio State may want some revenge. Let's say you drop that 16-6. But Rutgers, Nebraska, Iowa, USC, I think 20 wins is as close to 20 wins as you can get in the regular season is going to be very, very important. Like I said, if you win tomorrow, that gives you 12. You can probably win the next 2 after that. That's a 3-game winning streak. That puts you at what? 14. I think at least 15 if you beat Nebraska. 17, 18, 19. I think they can get 20 wins. I think 20 wins is attainable because Penn State isn't as good as they've been. USC, I don't think they're that good either. Personally, you get them at home. Iowa, I think you can beat them. I think you can beat Nebraska, Rutgers, Wisconsin, Indiana. Obviously, you're not going to win all of these games. You're going to drop a game here or there, but I think as close to 20 wins is very, very important. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games left, ladies and gentlemen. So if you get 10 out of those 16s, 10-6, that puts you at 21 wins. 21-10. 21-10, I think, is a great standard record to have heading into the Big Ten tournament. You can probably get one of those top 4 seeds, maybe get a double bye, and you're possibly almost in the Big Ten championship game in the tournament. So 16 games left, 10-6, that's 21 wins. You go 9-7, that's 20 wins. So I think 10-6 in the next 16, keep your eye out for that. That would get you over the 20-win threshold. And I think personally, that would get you where you want to be come tournament time as just an at-large team. And that can get you, I think, where the Terps want to be and really turn the season from a bunch of attaboys and almosts and, oh, we almost beat this team and we almost beat this ranked team and we were so close and had a lead against number 9, number 15 and had these big games and we couldn't get it done. They're averaging 85 points a game. They're doing it offensively. They're rebounding the ball, almost 40 rebounds a game, and they're playing good defense. So if these things continue to be true and they can just figure out how to close out games, which I think they're still learning how to do. That's why I said I'm going to see how they react. If they can, they have to win. It's a must win, not only tomorrow, but against Minnesota, Northwestern, Nebraska. So the next 4, they need to win. That will really help them get to that 10-win mark in the next 16. You would be what? 15-4. You will be 15-4 if you win the next 4. And having a big matchup against Illinois, who's probably going to be a perennial top 10 team, you can go in there and win that. Anything can happen. So we got to stay patient. Terpsville, Flex Zone family, God's favorite host here. Let me know your thoughts. Will you be watching the game? It is on Fox. So it's on national TV, a big showcase for the Maryland University, the basketball team, the athletic program, hopefully potential recruits for 2025, 2026 and beyond. Kevin Willard a chance to get a Big Ten win and 9-1 at home. Going to the game, be loud, be excited. Make it tough for UCLA to focus and concentrate and force them into some turnovers and keep Bilodeau in check. Convert those keys, make it threes, limit your turnovers. I'll rebound them. I think you'll be all right. Get some contributions from your bench. I think the Terps have a chance, as I mentioned. 16 games left. We're moving towards March. We're already in mid-January, just about. Big Ten basketball's heating up and a lot of basketball left, which I'll be covering here on the Flex Zone podcast, the only place giving you your sports how you want it, when you need it. Let me know. Sound off in the comment section. What do you think about the Maryland Terps? What do you think about their season so far? What is your record prediction for them? 16 games left. How many games do they need to win? I have them at 10-6. That gets them to 21 wins. I think enough wins for them to become NCAA tournament eligible. But I'm going with the Terps to beat UCLA tomorrow. I think like 75-69. That's the schedule I'm going with. 75-69. Terps get the win, get to 12-4. What say you? Slam dunk that subscribe button. Lay up that like button. Block that bell. Sign off in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on the Terps basketball or anything else in the comment section. What say you, Flex Zone family and Terps fans? Big game. Friday night, primetime on Fox. Let's see if the Terps can convert this must win into a victory as they look to finish the season strong and make it back to the NCAA tournament. Thank you guys for watching. I'll have a recap after the game, probably heading into the Minnesota game on Monday. So stay tuned, hit that bell, comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and leave us a like with that thumbs up. Go Terps. We'll see you tomorrow and this weekend with more content.